Hello, everyone. I'm Cole from the Kingdom. I'm joined here with Jackdaw.
Hey, how we doing?
Today, we're going to be talking about Mass Effect and where it could possibly be going in the future, because they BioWare and EA keep insisting Mass Effect still has
It's
stories to
not
tell,
dead.
but there's a lot of unknowns right now. We don't know what they're planning, where they want to take the series. So, before we get into what we personally want to see, we have to address Andromeda.
The elephant in the room.
Right. So, you've made videos about why it's terrible.
I've made videos why. Okay, I have a love and hate relationship with Mass Effect Andromeda. I really like the potential and the gameplay and aspects of the story and a few of the characters. Like Calo Jaff is an amazing Solarian. I absolutely adore him and the ship's designs and the planets. But as a Mass Effect game, and when you know, review it or relate it to a Mass Effect game, I just can't get behind it. I just see the trilogy and I just compare, and I know that I shouldn't, but I just compare all of Andromeda to what made me love Mass Effect, which was the trilogy. And then I'm like, okay, where's the lore? Where's the story? Where's the intrigue? Where's the development? Where is everything that makes Mass Effect in Andromeda? And for me, it's not there.
And in contrast, in heavy contrast, I've made a video about what makes Andromeda great. And I go into everything you just talked about because for me, all that stuff, all that intrigue and background lore, it's still there. I
Right,
see so much.
right.
And I think, like you said, people looking at it as a Mass Effect game, and for me, it absolutely is. I can't
Right.
imagine Andromeda not being Mass Effect. Like I can't wrap my head around that.
Right, right.
The I think the thing is people aren't sure what they wanted Mass Effect Andromeda to be.
That is no, yeah, that's a good point. There's so much potential. We don't really know what we wanted.
Exactly. See, the way I look at it, it's not a successor, it's not a sequel, it's not a spin-off. It's just something new in this same universe.
Right.
So, personally, I think the Ket are a fantastic concept. Maybe not handled the best in the game, but just the lore having this totalitarian theocracy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
something very much. It's not like the Reapers at all. I can
No.
understand why people make that connection. I can definitely understand it, but their motivations, how they work, what they do, it is very different. And actually, one of my favorite complaints is that the Ket are emotionless and just a very stoic people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would like to refer you all to this little known race. You may have encountered them in Mass Effect 2. They're called the Collectors. See, they
Okay,
were
fair,
they.
fair point. Fair point.
So, all right, you go ahead.
I think I agree in terms of obviously you look at what's the Master Collector called? What was the Archon? And you see he was interested in remnant technology and he was going against his own race to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you did call him stoic, one-noted villains, well, you look at him and he actually has his own hidden agenda that he's not supposed to be doing. So I think, right there as well, you do have that. But I thought the kit were interesting. The only thing was they were very they weren't typical, but how the story went forward was very typical. You could predict it. It was the Angara are the Ket, and I guessed that before the games came out because I was like, oh, I hope the Angara aren't the Ket, and
Mm-hmm.
that for me was it. Obviously the Ket are very intriguing and interesting, but it was a very predictable story.
Right.
And I guess that's something that we don't expect from Mass Effect is for us to be able to guess all the mysteries and the theories before the game even comes out, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. I definitely agree the presentation could have used some work in Andromeda,
Yeah.
but the story and lore just as it is, I think is very, very intriguing.
Yeah. I think that the Remnant, I was very, very, very intrigued by the Remnant, and I was also very intrigued by the Angara and the Ket. But I guess I just wanted more. Like when you play the first Mass Effect, you get all these races, you get these new planets, you get these new galaxies, you get the Citadel, you get everything is brand new. And for me in Andromeda, I just didn't feel that I cared about these new things because I didn't feel like there was that much of it, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
I mean, I get that. I felt like the Angara were a very sympathetic race. They really grabbed me, and I
Yeah,
was wildly interested.
me too. I was very interested in them. And
People,
that's
God,
that's why I romanced Jal, just because I was interested in how they worked and their emotions and everything like that.
I think because lack of races, lack of new races was a pretty common complaint.
Yeah,
But the way
yeah.
I look at it, it's like I'm looking at a donut, but all you guys can see is the hole. You're looking at what's not there. I'm looking at
That's a
what I
good.
have. I
Yeah.
have a delicious donut.
Yeah, you have two races. You have the Remnant, the Angara, who are the Ket, which is a lot of stuff. It's a lot of lore. Whereas obviously for me, it's like, well, it's not enough. Where are the Elcor? Where are the Volus? Where are the Quarians? Where are all these that were,
Yeah.
magnificent in the Mass Effect trilogy? Why aren't they here?
It's
Uh,
just, I guess it's just human nature to always want more, never be satisfied with what you have.
yeah.
So I mean, I get it, but I'm excited to see where they take it in the future. And I guess now we should talk about what we want for the future of Mass Effect. For me, I
Well,
definitely want to return
yeah.
to Andromeda.
I definitely want to return to the Milky Way.
Okay, all right. You go
This
first.
is this is good because we obviously get to share our different opinions that are vastly different.
Yeah.
We're not just being like, yeah, I want that too. So for me, the Milky Way, I just want to go back to the Milky Way because there was so much potential in the original trilogy for spin-offs or for certain different types of stories in the Milky Way. Just because of the lore we were given, and of course we have that in Andromeda, but the Milky Way specifically is where I fell in love with Mass Effect, so I just want to go back there. My initial idea was to have a new plot, potentially pre-Shepard, just before Shepard, where we get to choose our own race. We get to be many different races in the Milky Way, and we get to go on some sort of like anti-hero Guardians of the Galaxy sort of quest. Maybe like you're in the slums of Omega, you're going around different planets, like or similar planets to the trilogy, like Ilium, or you're going across the Citadel. And you're kind of like an anti-hero. You're some sort of space pirate, space commando, Guardians of the Galaxy-esque kind of I don't say hero because the idea is that you could be a smuggler or a thief. Very much very pen and paper D&D where we flesh out our character and we just go on this experience as being something completely different in this franchise that we love and with a lot of the planets and a lot of the systems that the original trilogy had. So say we could meet Arya T'Loak again, or we could see Commander Bailey again, or Captain Bailey as he probably would be if it was pre Mass Effect, and we can meet loads of these pre-established characters but in different roles. So you could go into Omega and potentially you may see Jacob and Miranda helping out that Solarian, or you could see um, other characters doing other things. Yet we're not attached to that plot. We are doing our own thing as a small group of smugglers, say going on a heist or getting involved in some sort of gang, doing some quests for Arya T'Loak. Just like obviously it's an idea, but just some sort of grand, not as sci-fi, not as space opera as Mass Effect, but in the similar scope. Um, like you have the Star Wars franchise, you have the trilogy, and then you have Rogue One, where you
Hmm.
have this smaller story, epic in scale, but much smaller. There's no grand villain, there's no grand hero. Everyone's kind of morally grey. And that's what I would like, just to return to that Milky Way and then deal with something like that. That's just one idea I have.
I mean, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. I'm not sure how well concepts like that will mesh with the established gameplay of the original trilogy
Yeah, yeah,
or Andromeda. And so that's one hurdle. I made a video that's going to be out before this is released
yeah,
about Mass Effect movies and other additional media where I talk about exploring
yeah,
those kind of side stories. And so, I mean, I would like to see some spin-off games like that. I'm
yeah,
just not sure I would want it in the same formula that we experienced Shepard in.
yeah, yeah. Because for that stuff, you do have the comics. Like,
Right.
if you want to see Miranda and Jacob, then you read the Legacy comic. If you want to see Ashley, then you read that comic. And if you want to see Garrus before that, and I get that that's obviously what they're doing to get all those stories out there because there's so many of them.
Right. And I mean, there's a lot of places in the Milky Way I would love to visit, like Elysium, or just
Yes, yeah.
there is a lot of potential there. My biggest concern with returning to the Milky Way is, I guess, a lot of people want a story post Shepard,
Yeah, yeah.
and no, no. Okay, not that it can't happen.
But the ending,
It's not
uh,
just the ending. It's during the Genophage, peace between the Quarians and Geth. You cannot physically write a game
yeah, you can't write that all off. You can't.
because the Krogan could be extinct, the Geth could be extinct, the Quarians could be extinct. You can't.
The humans could be synthetic, or the Reapers could be destroyed, or
Yeah,
the Reapers could have, there could be a bad ending. Like, so
it's
many things could have happened based on so many different decisions.
exactly. So it's simply not achievable to write a post Mass Effect 3 game. Now, if they had made the ending a little bit different, like I made a few videos for the how I would have done the ending,
Yeah,
then maybe. But I'm not sure if they would even consider doing that.
they could go down the indoctrination theory route.
Oh my god, please no. No, no, no.
Oh, not a fan.
Oh, I want to make a video for why that theory is complete nonsense.
Please do
Sorry,
that.
sorry to
I
anyone who yeah.
I watched it again. Obviously, it came out like 2013, whatever. But I watched it again in 7 day just for the nostalgia of it, and I love it. I love it. So if you got a rebuttal against that, I would love to watch that.
Okay. All right. I will get to work on that. But for now, let's talk about what we would want to see for Andromeda. So, obviously,
Okay.
you had some mixed opinions about Andromeda, but would you like to see a continuation of that story?
Yeah. Okay. I have multiple ideas. So I would love to just skip ahead 300 years, Andromeda Galaxy, fresh plate. Technology's more advanced. We know about the Remnant. The Ket are gone. Whatever. New story. The Riders were great heroes for the Andromeda Galaxy. However, they were 300 years ago, and we have a statue memorialized in their name. But now we have a new hero in the Andromeda Galaxy. We've met new aliens, stuff like that. There's no more of that political turmoil. There's new species that have came to the galaxy. No more Rider. Um, just a new, fresh palette in the Andromeda Galaxy.
See,
That's one.
I don't want to skip all that. I want to I want to see the discovery of new races. I want to because the Ket have a whole empire beyond Helios. I want to see that.
Yeah, yeah,
I want to venture out of the cluster, experience new races and new, probably already established cultures. I'd like to see. I have several ideas.
yeah.
This is something I'd like to make a series of videos for, just my own story concepts. But like, imagine first contact with a race that's like still in its industrial era,
Okay.
or or
Yeah,
you know, a cluster where there are several races working in harmony, like they did in the Milky Way, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
the Initiative and Angara come in. Different races off fighting the Ket.
yeah,
There is so much potential in Andromeda, and
yeah,
it would just be a tragedy to see them abandon that story.
yeah, yeah. No, a direct Andromeda sequel would be good. Would you want to play as Rider again?
I'm not sure. I could go either way. I think I would like if they handled it a bit like Dragon Age, where you get a new protagonist every time. But I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to bringing
So,
Ryder back.
what's your opinion on Rider?
Uh, I like personally. I like the dialogue system in Andromeda. It could have
Yeah,
used some more tweaking, make things a
yeah,
little more different. But I like it encouraged me to switch up which options I chose far more than
yeah.
the original trilogy did.
It did. Yeah, you weren't always going like, always just going Paragon, always going Renegade. You would
Right.
actually use the different ones. What
Exactly.
I liked a lot about it was actually just how cinematic it was.
Hmm.
How, every conversation there was an emphasis on it being cinematic, and that is something that I really liked.
Something else I really liked about Andromeda, something I didn't get much of in the original trilogy, and I've been replaying it again recently, so I know this is.
It's fresh in mind. Yeah.
I'm not talking out of my ass about this, but just meeting random people, hearing their own motivations and backstories about why they came to Andromeda, I feel like These are just like
Yeah,
2 minute conversations, but they add
you
a
get to
whole
talk. Yeah,
lot.
yeah, you get to talk to a lot more people in Andromeda
Yeah,
compared to the original trilogy.
they make the world feel so much more alive. Not that the original trilogy didn't feel alive by any means.
It's obviously the technology is expanding, and then they're able to now obviously have those, NPCs talking in the background, and you can talk to them.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously in the trilogy, it probably wasn't as possible.
So I do want to come back to that when we talk about
Yeah,
remastering the trilogy. But right now, are there any other avenues you'd like them to explore for in the future, like spin-offs, prequels, anything in particular?
I have one idea, and that is an Andromeda galaxy meets Milky Way. So what if the Andromeda and Milky Way galaxies could convey a way to correspond and transport to and from, where you could share the both world states, creating an incredible way to amalgamate the main game and the spin-off stories together. So you could have like a narrative where you are involving both the galaxies. So basically, you could have the Milky Way characters, very, very retconny and very fan. um, but what if you could have the Andromeda characters meeting the Milky Way characters, or what if the Milky Way people retconned and left before the Reapers could come to go to the Andromeda galaxy, and then you now have a lot of the Milky Way characters in the Andromeda galaxy? I mean, it's obviously very fan service, and it probably wouldn't make sense, but if Bai were desperate at this point, you could get a lot of the Milky Way characters and put them in Andromeda and say that, hey, we can now connect to the Milky Way and the Andromeda in one light year or whatever. But
Hmm.
it's a having that idea where the two galaxies can come one, and you can have like a narrative that centers on those two of a lot of the pre-existing characters.
I think there's something to be said for that. I
Yeah.
think that is an interesting idea. I'd like to see them wrap up the Andromeda storyline first,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
no, there is definitely something to that.
Yeah.
So, how about we move on to the idea of remastering the original
Yeah,
trilogy?
yeah. So we know that various earning calls say that they are going to remaster fan favorite games. And I think if you look at the earnings call, it says that you can expect that in like 2021, 2020. But what is a more iconic remastered franchise than Mass Effect in EA's roster?
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. See, I'm not opposed to it. I mean, by all
Yeah,
means, remaster it, but I don't see much of a need for it. Like,
yeah,
say
yeah.
what you will about Mass Effect One's
Combat.
gameplay, but I
Yeah.
I think the graphics still hold up. They don't look bad by any
It-
by any means.
And for me, I kind of like that lens flary, that
Yeah,
film grain vibe. And to be honest, I have an Xbox One. I have it backwards compat. I have it on PC. Like, I have it on two platforms already. To get it rebooted again, I mean, I would love a remaster just for like the up graphics, 4K, sure. But to be honest, like, I'm not too fussed.
if they bundled in all the DLC, I think that would
Yes.
that would add a lot more incentive.
What would they do to it if they did up the gameplay? Fair, but it doesn't need to be upped. But if they did, then that's fair. But if it's just like a texture upgrade, then I mean, yeah, I guess I would definitely get it.
I mean, let's talk about that. What would you want them to change the games at all? Would you want to keep them as they were originally, or would you take this opportunity to change things up a little bit?
So if I was to be naive and just say I would like anything, I would love them to change Mass Effect 3's ending.
Okay, yes.
But but honest in on seeing what they can do, I maybe just up the gameplay in one, make it controller compatible for PC, please, because I have to play keyboard and mouse,
Yeah.
and that is so bad. And I think it's the same Mass Effect 2, so they could make it controller compatible. That's something that they can easily do. Um, Make sure the multiplayer is in Mass Effect 3.
Of course.
Um, and as long as they bring back the DLCs, because I know that Mass Effect 2 you had to pay for Cerberus Network, and then Cerberus Network went down, and now there's IE DLC could be hard to get if you don't have Cerberus Network, and it's a lot of loopholes. So they need to make sure that they can fix that. Another than a HD like pack, I don't really know what else. Do you know what else they could add?
I mean, I'm thinking more in terms of something I felt was missing from Mass Effect 2 that they really nailed in 3 was the interactions and conversations between your squad just on the Normandy that you could overhear.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah,
just hearing Garrus have a short conversation with Thane over the comms, or you
yeah.
know Jack telling Miranda to go fuck herself, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
stuff like that. Um,
yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, yeah, it changes what Mass Effect 2 was, but I mean, I like it.
Kinda.
And
Yeah,
if you like the old version, you can play the old version.
yeah, exactly. If you want that, then get that. Yeah. No, honestly, like, I very much would like one just for the up graphics and just for the experience again. And if it's got better control system, why not? Because the controls
Mm-hmm.
on PC are awful. I will say that. Playing Mass Effect 2 on PC, I'm like, no, I'm good.
I've been getting
Um,
used to it.
yeah, you do get used to it after a while, but it's just a bit clunky.
Yeah. I don't understand why they don't have controller support. I mean, I
It's
don't know.
it's crazy. I have to go through Steam and then use that. But yeah, if they upped it, control spot, that'd be awesome. And for Mass Effect 1 too.
Something else I would personally like is just more dialogue options in 3. I don't know how achievable that is, but
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
I felt like the game took control of Shepard for me too much.
yeah. I'd like about outfits as well.
Okay, yeah, I mean cosmetic things, outfits,
Hairstyles.
armors. All right, sure.
Yeah, get those. Add the Blood Dragon armor for the Dragon Age like pre-order bonus where you get that
Yeah.
armor in Mass Effect 2. That was cool. Um,
I think they're releasing Halo on PC soon, and they keep talking about adding more armors and stuff to the game. So,
oh, wow. Yeah, yeah. I had Halo Reach on Game Pass, which is on PC.
hmm
Yeah, yeah. I saw that. So yeah, they add. Yeah. What if they also added like extra missions,
yeah, see, I
smaller
haven't
stuff?
I haven't played the expanded Galaxy mod yet, but I've heard some great things about it. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to experiencing that. Mass Effect 3 had a lot of just the one that comes to mind is the Elcor homeworld, where the ambassador
Yes.
begs you to save his people. You shoot
Yeah.
down a probe and then go say, "I saved your people."
I've done it. Yeah.
Come on, guys, you're
There
better
was a
than
lot of
that.
yeah, there was a lot of cut content for sure. And obviously you can't get everything in the game, but like you hear about a few of the ideas that they did have to put in that game. And if they had the time and they put those in there, that would be amazing. Obviously, that would be a dream. But yeah, there were so many things that were cut. It's like
You know what?
if they
I just
had
thought
the
of something
time.
else.
Yeah.
Make the Quarian faces more alien, and completely change Tally's picture.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Do it.
that was just jeez. But I think
Don't.
that's about it for what I would want in the remaster.
Yeah, in terms of just up graphics and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all I'd like if they did do that.
Okay, so time for the real meaningful stuff.
Yeah.
What does Mass Effect mean to you? What do you think of when you think Mass Effect?
Mass Effect 2 specifically was the first RPG I ever played. So for me, it was playing a game where for the first time I could create my own character, choose my own class, choose a dialogue for that person, romance the person, get used to interacting with characters differently, and it was an absolutely breathtaking game at the young age I played it as. I was like, what is this sort of game? Like not just obviously the RPG aspect of it, which obviously helped, but like getting invested in the lore and the characters and the story. It just completely revolutionized what exactly a video game for me was. So that Mass Effect 2 is my favorite game and forever will be my favorite game. I don't think that there'll be a game that can beat the awe that I found in that game because it is just purely just every experience I had was beautiful. And I just replayed it and replayed it and replayed it and replayed it and replayed it like for like a year. Like I'm the sort of guy who will play a game, as you can tell, because I'm still talking about Dragon Age. Just 5 years old, I play a game, and I'll just play that until the next one comes out. And for me, that's been the Elder Scrolls and Dragon Age and Mass Effect. And I'll just play those until the next one comes out. And Mass Effect was the first that just made me feel that. It made me feel unique. It made my experiences feel that they mattered. It allowed me to play any character I wanted. And yeah, it means so much to me because of what it did to me at a young age. It made me love video games. And so it means a lot. It's been with me half my life, I can say, which is
Mm-hmm.
gives you a sense of how old I am. But it's been with me so long that like I just it's my favorite. It's my favorite franchise above books, above shows, above movies. I see how certain other franchises do lore, and I'm like, Mass Effect did that better. Mass Effect did that better. Like I'm not gonna throw any punch at Star Wars, but I'm like, Mass Effect did that
Yeah.
better. Mass Effect did that better. And I know that obviously Mass Effect is based on Star Wars, but the way that they have done that franchise, it's beautiful. So it means so much to me. But
I
what about you?
I mean, I agree with just about everything you said. For me, one of the best things about it was getting to know and growing alongside your crew
Yeah,
and
yeah.
forming these meaningful relationships with, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. I know they don't exist, but you feel like they do.
You feel, yeah, they make you love these characters. They make you, when I was young, I didn't have many friends, so you have these characters who are your friends.
Yeah.
They talk to you as your friend. They engage with you as your friend, and it's even though it's soppy, it's true. That's why we play Bioware games because it's a friend that you can have without having to go talk to someone in real life and have to deal with real life stuff. You can get invested in this character and what they're talking about and it's the magic of a BioWare game, and it's what I feel many other games can't replicate. Like I've seen a few games recently, and I'm like, BioWare did it better. BioWare did it better.
Yeah,
And it's because we're spoiled with BioWare. They
we are.
spoil us with their characters. They really do. Like, I love the Outer Worlds, but how BioWare dealt with their characters in terms of how they spoiled us with them, I'm like, BioWare did it better.
Yep.
They spoil us. They really do because they spend so much time on it, and it's those character interactions that BioWare, like, they create so many unique characters, and they're so different. You look at Dragon Age and Mass Effect, and their characters are so different yet so amazing. Like, you can look at Alistair, and obviously he's your best bud kind of guy, and Garrus is also that best. Oh, sorry, you look at Varric and Garrus, and they're both your best bud type of guy,
Yeah.
but they're so different and so engaging in their own individual ways,
And they
and
feel
I love that.
and they feel so real, like so
Yeah,
believable. They're not, these over the top personalities. You
yeah, they're
know,
not stereotypes either. They're engaging. They're different. Yeah,
I guess the other thing that really makes Mass Effect is just the just getting to experience this galactic community and
yeah.
understanding the history and sociology of all these different races cooperating.
Yeah, the scope of the universe. It's the idea that if aliens were your best friends, fair enough, humans, but what if you could be best friends with an alien? What if aliens and humans got along in a galactic base in the in space in the galaxies where everyone got along? And
Hmm.
obviously, there's a bit of radicalism out there, but generally, because whenever you see aliens, I think Mass Effect is so unique because whenever you see aliens, other than Star Wars and Star Trek, aliens are seen as the bad guy, and humans and aliens are always against each other. Whereas Mass Effect, you can romance the aliens.
Yes. All right.
That's where it is different. It is unique.
Okay, so I think that about wraps this up. You have anything else to say?
Other than that, I really want to return to the Milky Way. No, like I honestly would just like to see Mass Effect just return to its epicness, whatever way that is. I just hope that this franchise just continues on. You know,
I
if
agree.
that's Andromeda, great. If that's Milky Way, great. If that's something new, great.
Okay. All right, and on that note, thank you for joining me.
And thank you for letting me come on.
So, I guess my channel is linked in Jackdaw's description, and his is linked in mine.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you later.
Thank you for all your loyalty and support.